My girlfriend is toxic and insecure about me due to her previous relationship. So I have been dating my girlfriend for almost 7 months now. She is diagnosed with depression and is prescribed medication and goes to therapy due to her previous relationship, which was toxic, both sides, from what I was told from her and other friends. There has been countless arguments that stem from her insecurities that she has started. One of the first ones that made me go WTF was a few months ago when I was on FaceTime with her. I had just gotten back from the gym and I was telling her that I was going to take the gym more seriously because my one ex-guy friend has gotten really big. I also told her that we used to like the same girl 2 years ago. She got immediately mad and started saying that I'm only going to the gym so I can start impressing that girl we both used to like. I then explained her more clearly that after seeing how much progress my ex-friend made, I saw that I haven't made much progress in the gym and haven't been taking it seriously and that it has nothing to do with a girl. But she continued to be hyper-focused on that I mentioned a girl. Eventually after like 2 hours she dropped it. Another was like 2 months back when I was hanging out with my group of friends, 3 guys and 1 girl, at my friend, girl's house. The girl offered me $10 to mow her lawn, so I happily agreed. Later that day when I called my GF, who already knew who my group of friends are and that I was hanging out with them. I always communicate with her, I tell her who I am hanging out with, where and when. I told her the story that the girlfriend paid me $10 to mow her lawn. Not only does my GF knows that I have been friends with this girl for almost 4 years now, but that she is in a relationship. She again got mad at me for this, became jealous, saying, "Oh, why would you do things for another girl?" I was completely taken aback. Like, first of all, if I was cheating, why would I tell her that story, and secondly, I was paid to do it and I didn't offer. She has been always suspicious of this girl even though I only hang out with her in a group. 7 months in and her mentality is still toxic. She still believes that I am capable of cheating on her and eventually I am going to leave her for another girl. It has gotten me so sick and angry because 7 months in she still doesn't trust me and I haven't done anything to make her believe that. I only have a small group of friends, not extroverted, deleted all my social media. If I am in not class or with her, I'm either working, at the gym or at home playing video games. When I confront her about these things, she always chalks it up to her previously relationship, and it's hard to let go of old habits and that she's just trying to protect herself. But I am like I'm a completely different person and not toxic like her ex. I genuinely don't know what to do at this point. I do believe she genuinely loves and cares about me, but on the other hand her insecurity and toxicity has not changed. This doesn't even include like smaller arguments that she started because of her quick temper. Comment. If you really want to start going hard at the gym, I would dump her. She is really toxic and it will eventually catch up to you and start affecting your well-being. I don't have a lot to go off or compare to since I've only ever had one relationship which I am still in, but your relationship just sounds exhausting. Next story 2. My unwanted deprecating thoughts are ruining my happy relationship with So. I'm currently in a happy relationship. We've just come back from holiday and celebrated our 1-year anniversary. We've spent a long time together while on holiday and I'm super positive about us and taking the next steps. There's however an issue that I'd like some advice on. I've been thinking about going to a psychologist about this, but that takes more time and I can't stand the thoughts anymore as it makes me anxious. So here goes. I find my So attractive in many ways, but like with anyone, there's imperfections. Now I've come to realize that I'm always opinionated about others and with a slight superiority complex, which I'm working on. This however has also led to high standards for myself and thus self-deprecating thoughts. Moreover, I'm quite the overthinker and thus spend way too much time listening to my own thoughts, which I find incredibly difficult to overcome. Recently, my thoughts have been focusing on the imperfections of my So and even manifested such that the word ugly automatically pops up in my head when I think about her. I hate myself for this as it is unfair to myself, but more importantly to her. I actively try to tell myself that no one is perfect and that my thoughts are BS, but that also acknowledges the reality of the thought, so I'm kind of split between this and trying to ignore the thought. The more I think about this, the worse it becomes, and I currently just want to get rid of it and be happy with her. I consider seeing a psychologist about this, but I currently just want to vent to someone and I don't feel comfortable telling anyone close, as I suspect this may only make things worse. Especially since I've in earlier times had doubts, which my so is aware of, due to never experiencing the intense near hopeless feeling of liking someone anymore since I was 23. I love her with all my heart and rationally can say that this thought is BS, but it still hurts so much when it just pops back. How do I tackle these thoughts? While doing this, how to go about this with my so in the meantime. Next story 3. I and my girlfriend are going through a breakup. How do I convince her that I'm not a dead end? I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for almost 2 years now, and this year we had a rocky start as she broke up with me for a multitude of reasons. I had obsessive tendencies, no friends, and was generally just very awful to her. I went to therapy during our time apart and improved immensely, and after a few months of just settling for friendship as she wasn't ready, we got back together and our relationship was stronger than ever and incredibly healthy. We're long distance, so it tends to make this difficult and problems tend to arise, but we always work through them. I recently got employed by a cafe around 2 months ago, and she is someone whose love language resides mostly in gifts, and I promised her I would, but after planning a trip to go see her, which sadly didn't happen because I couldn't afford it, I saved almost all the money I earned for it. When it got cancelled, we were both devastated, but I decided to invest my money into important things I would need as an adult. I didn't tell her this immediately at the time and figured it would be understandable when I did let her know about this. 2 days ago, I had planned to order her Starbucks as she asked for it because now I felt comfortable with the amount of money I had. I wasn't able to as it was pickup only, and she hates going out alone, so we dropped it, plus she ended up not wanting it anymore because we got into a small argument about me wanting her to get whatever she wants instead of worrying about my money, but she later said she wanted something from a boba shop near her house, and I said I would get it since they did delivery. She said she needed to think about what she wanted then, and I waited, and she never said anything else about it. I assumed she didn't want it anymore, and we eventually went to bed. The next day she was acting incredibly down, so we talked about it. She explained that she was upset that I didn't buy her boba, but I told her that she never gave me an answer, so I assumed she didn't want it anymore and apologized. To make up for it, I decided to surprise her with jewelry and a few other things without telling her. She said it wasn't my fault that it didn't happen, and we dropped the conversation for a bit, but later that day it was brought back up because I was saying if I can help you feel better at all then tell me very frequently. It's something I've always done regardless of the situation as a way of offering security and reassurance that I'm here. She snapped on me, and it very quickly turned into an argument. She said I was begging her to give me the answer on what to do, to which I said that's not how I mean that, and after almost 2 years I thought she'd know that I do that as a way of offering just presence and safety even when I know how to make her feel better. It continued to escalate from there, and I currently deal with trauma from our last breakup, so it's very easy for me to get anxious and write extremely long paragraphs defending myself when I feel attacked or misunderstood by her. She told me to shut up, and that all I was doing was defending myself instead of listening to her, which she was right. We decided to take a time out and talked again once she was home, and the conversation felt extremely tense and aggressive. I was trying to explain what I was doing, accidentally spoiled the surprise because I felt as if I had to explain everything, and it ended with her not wanting gifts from me anymore and her feeling uncomfortable and unheard, but I tried my best to resolve things despite my anxiety. Last night, she asked me to call and said she wanted to break up. After our last talk I had been doing everything that was needed of me and more. She said that I was obsessive and not self-assured, which I agreed, and I believe I need to go back into therapy. She said it was like I wasn't even friends with my best friends, which she was right, and while I tried to defend myself and express my frustrations on it, I did in fact dig my own grave with them and make it hard to befriend them because of these obsessive tendencies. I explained to her that I was already talking to them, trying to bring myself out of this rut, and doing absolutely everything she asked of me and wanted. She said she believes me, but she still isn't willing to give me another chance, and I kept trying to convince her, but nothing worked, and she said she's breaking up with me and said goodnight. I admit that I was very manic when we were talking about it, and I was in a very bad mindset, and I wish we didn't talk so late at night. Today, she removed me from everything and asked me to call one more time before this ends. I asked if I could be honest and said that I don't want this to end and that I miss her and I love her and I wanted to give this time, so I could improve before anything. She asked if I was giving up, to which I said no. I said I would never give up no matter how much she hated me, because I promised her since the day I met her that I wouldn't give up on her. She said in her eyes I already have, and I asked why, and she said it's because I treated her like shit. That I'm unromantic and don't give her gifts. I haven't responded yet, and I have no idea as to what I'm supposed to do. I feel like she sees me as a dead end, when in reality I'm just falling back into a rut that I'm doing everything to get out of. Any advice would be appreciated.